You are very special.
Hi, I'm Robbie Campbell, and I'm an actor. It's not that I need Miami. It's not that I need Jersey. I personally am a not sociopathic weirdo, but that's okay.
Join the club.
I know. So here is what always intrigued me about you. After you and I met on a wonderful, wonderful production, which is not coming.
What's going on with that?
Well, about that. So I can't speak much about it because we are still looking to have it made. However, it has put me into a position where I think that vertical videos are the right thing to do. You know, being so obsessed or trying to work in Hollywood and writing projects right now.
So I just want you to go back one notch. Can you just tell the people that don't know that weren't on set that one time, what was the whole, like, without giving too many details, you went vertical first, you're saying? That's kind of
so
in the whole
here
film,
is the
right?
deal. So I worked with my co-producing model partner, Sophie Sumner, who is fantastic. Anyone can watch her on Sophie Sumner on Instagram, as well as Amazon, and as well as so many other things. Sophie, I love you. Don't hate me for this because I'm not going to give too much away. But when we met, we met because of sobriety, and her sobriety. She had a sobriety project, which I produced, which I was asked to be humbly an executive producer on. And it's called Day One, and it's been in festival. It's still running around the festival circuit. We did get into 3 festivals. And so when I did it, I used to be or wanted to be an actor. So I said, let's do another project. Let's keep ping-ponging back and forth. So I did one. It was called Why the Sad, which will be part of this podcast, is Why the Sad. I have not yet released it. I'm not too thrilled with it. And the other thing we realize is it was a short. Yes, there's Hollywood. Yes, there's films. Yes, we're in the apocalypse. Yes, we're trying to catch up to everything. And every time you do something, something else is dying. I don't know. Vertical videos. I think that's what I think this is what the subject is. Don't you think?
I think it's intriguing when we touch on another point that I know you're super into, which is like the mental health thing. Cause like now you could you could skew one side and be like, okay, well, now I know a little bit about science. I know a little bit about the light coming from our phone.
Sure.
And I know that the blue light coming from our phone is actually made to be addictive. It's
God.
different than the sunlight.
The dopamine levels that I deal with. So I've been an addict. I've tried everything, just so was all of us. And to be honest, I just came from Costa Rica. One of the reasons I wanted to go to Costa Rica, I know. I couldn't get up surfing. My body isn't working the way it was supposed to, but I tried. What I do realize is how much, what I loved about it and going there was that I heard it was a blue zone, and it is on the north. I did not go to Nosara. I did stay at a place called La Fermata, which I love to give a shout out because those guys they're actually one from Jersey and the husband is from Boston. They lived in Nosara forever. And I found, of course, because I'm a bougie bitch, I found the most, luxurious kind of thing in Santa Teresa. Santa Teresa, knowing, is not by any means a luxury joint. Is that
rugged?
Yeah, it's rugged. It's cool as shit. The best surf instructors. We had this guy named Pablo who was like, I'm giving a shout out to him. Dude, you're the man. Go Pablo. The thing is, the whole vibey, cool, whatever. I have been fighting trying to ride that wave. The entire thing, and about mental illness, because life is about surfing. And if you don't let it carry you, you can't get up on the board. You'll never get up on the board because you're fighting the wave. You have to fight your own inner bullshit and keep your body in shape and focus deeply. Focus. If you're not focused on your intention, there's no riding that wave.
Why do you think so many people fight the wave? Like, do you think it's because they don't want to face what they innately know?
Absolutely.
Or...
I think that we are all born into this trauma, right? We talk about it a lot. I'm over trying to fix my own trauma. I think that's
what's your take on the word trauma? Some people I know, they hear and they're like, that's fucking, no accountability, some bullshit. And then some people are so about
Okay.
Do you have
You want to go on my
a stance on
algorithm?
it?
Because all my algorithm talks about is trauma, broken all day long. Trauma
All the
bonding,
things.
relationship, all this stuff. You got to be healed, not to be healed, and healing. And I'm on this healing journey. What we realize, and what I realized even with surfing, is no one can do any of this alone in isolation. Surfing a wave by yourself sounds really fucking cool. But to be honest with you, I've been actually in my healing journey and not being able to surf because I've been living or been addicted to wanting to be castaway. I've been wanting to hang out with Wilson. And what I realized from my instructor is, yo, you got to really be hang on that board. You got to focus. You got to just get up. You got to have fun. Spirituality is all about fun. Being a Catholic raised in Jersey, which you go Boston, you don't know shit about being a Catholic by from the Middlesex County of New Jersey. When you are raised in the asshole of something, what you're trying to do is get out of that. Then we can also get addicted to luxury. See, I am, and I will come out, because there's no reason I shouldn't, as bipolar, borderline personality disorder, all that. I have been trying to fix this forever. And getting back to surfing, that is the point. You just focus on what you're trying to do organically. And if you do, and you have the energy of the people around you, because that board, if you flip and whatever and fall, you might look funny, but you could still kill somebody next to you. And the one thing I found out about surfers is everybody just wants everybody to have a good time. People are there to help each other. That is the key to life. The key to all this trauma and all the bullshit is allowing people in your life and not pushing them away and not isolating. It could be, in my opinion, a self-induced autism or self-induced or taught patterns. Taylor, I'm spouting a lot of bullshit. You already know.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head, though, with the whole like trained patterning, and even how I love the relation to surfing, because I think it's the perfect correlation to life. Because truly, one thing about life is when the deeper you get into it, you have experiences, highs and lows, you recognize that there's this invisible, unexplainable force. And when you're surfing, there is an unexplainable force that is literally carrying, I mean, people, it's water, you know, but carrying the fucking you on a board, like that's just wild. Like carrying you on a board to another destination. Like you're not using a machine, like there's no engine, no motor, like you're using the forces of nature to carry you through. And I think that is the lesson.
But here's the key. If you just see, everyone talks about being in the flow. Being in the flow,
Yeah.
You still have to paddle, you still have to get up on the board, because the only people who go with the flow is a dead fish. That is the key. When I went to go surf and I tried to get up on the board, because my body is old and couldn't get up. I had a hip, I have shoulders, and I've been like obsessed with trying to fix this. I couldn't get up on the board. I couldn't have fun. And all my instructors like, get the fuck up, get up now. You're going to miss the fun.
And you're trying. So
Trying.
would you go
fuck
back?
Trying. That's a 6-year-old tries. That's the key. But adults,
don't try. Just let it take you and just go with the wind. Right?
you literally
Just go
have to
along
use
with
your
the
legs.
fucking try. Yeah, you have to fucking try and paddle. And I think too that aligns with like creating your own path. Like you go with the flow, and people talk about flow state, and you know that's great, but that doesn't mean not questioning traditional values and mindsets. And
What is
that
okay,
whole,
Taylor?
you know,
I have a question for you. What is flow state?
to me, it is energetic coherence, meaning you're in sync with whatever you're doing. You're one, you're no longer detached. And for some people in that experience, they lose track of time and they feel like complete connection with the craft or whatever they're doing. It could be art, it could be talking, it could be surfing, it could be musician, singing. I mean, the list goes on. I think it's infinite, but I think it's a connection and oneness.
Do you think this is,
do you
well, I'll tell you, I think the opposite of that, because we keep talking about it, and you know, is funny or whatever or not as it is. I think that if you're not, this is where disassociation comes. Where disassociation comes and where not connection comes is from not being connected not only to your craft or what you're doing. And we can go to every scientific explanation. I have lived it. I continue to live it. Unfortunately, thank God, I'm taking stuff that slows down my ADHD brain enough to speak on this podcast and be focused on it. Because if not, the disassociation from whatever you do, the disassociation from humans and everything else, it's why we are having problems with relationships.
Beyond that, I think the disassociation, do you think it is the cause for a lot of the terrible things we're seeing in the world, like lone shooters?
I think if you force yourself to be disassociated and you don't activate and you don't do something, it's exactly what it is. So it's also the thoughts in our head, right? We all have negative thoughts. I don't know how many negative thoughts you have per day. Maybe you're also doing stuff so you don't have time to think about them. Trying to change your brain into positive things. Yes, being delusional is the key. Like looking at it and saying, yeah, it will happen, envisioning it in the future. But if you sit on your ass while you understand and you get this, you have this aha moment. And if you don't do anything with that, well, then you're not even a good fish to catch.
100% agree. I want to go back to the thoughts on mental illness and health before we move on to like relationships.
Hey, I am your rat in the cage. Let's go.
I know. That's why I want to talk to you, because you're speaking from experience, and you've lived through many different
I'm so trying to make it funny, but I have no idea anymore.
Well, that's what I think is. So going back to mental health, like it is, some of the issues that could come from that can be this story or these thoughts that you continuously either tell yourself or allow to come in and enter your mind. Like, how do you even grow out of that? Like you said, running away from the asshole of New Jersey and like trying to get out of the
well, that's the funny. You could run away from whatever you want, but if you're not running towards something, you're just running away. If you're running away from responsibility, you're just running away. You know, it's so funny about the podcast and everything else. My favorite podcast on earth is Smartless. Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, we all know this many times. And my whole entire life, being a New Yorker, being this, I'm always in the cusp of either meeting them, speaking to them, fanboying the shit out of them, which is always that. And then, of course, you're like, hey, you're a celebrity. Let's do drugs. Let's drink. Let's do all the things that you don't want to do. And why my heroes, all these people, all the sobriety people are my heroes, and I'm still trying to figure it out, is because they beat it. Look, my heroes in life are those who have gotten out of this. You know, like I said, Downey's my favorite. I mean, well, because forget about what he went through though, and he was bipolar and everything else. But I've not, and that's the funny thing. I've had a sobriety journey. I didn't commit to it. I still go back and forth. When I'm committing to it, when I'm going through it, and not just thinking I'm bad or everything else, going through the program and everything else, I'm invited to that party. Even that party, my acting career, I gave up because I didn't do enough. I didn't put enough wax on the board. I didn't get my hips in training so I can get up. I'm good at wakeboarding. Big deal. That's a boat carrying me. Yes, I finally let it take me, and that's great. But if you let life take you and you don't deal with it, you could be invited to any party, but when you show up, nobody wants to speak to you. Nobody wants to be around you. Shit, is this getting deep and dark or what?
No, I love it. I want to go back to, what do you think allows these people like the Downeys, like Sophie, to fully commit? Like, because
desire,
wasn't a mindset.
desire to, and I think giving back. I think caring about other people. I think if we are not of service to the other people. I think in my acting, I was such an entertainer actor that I gave a shit about my own performance, and why it all, even when I was in theater school, why my performances, I got standing O's. I got it all. Why was I easier to play the villain? It's fun. But also in life, I started thinking, am I this? Like creating the identity when you think like you're better than anyone or underneath anyone. Like when you live the ego over the connection. Like, I forgot, we talk about all these things. Psilocybin. I've been on this for 5 years. trying to deal. I've been in ketamine.
What are your thoughts on it? The whole
Let's
psychedelic.
fucking go. I love them.
What are your
They're
thoughts?
amazing.
Especially
The
with the
colors
mental
are
health.
great. The issue with the mental, but the thing is this: I did psychedelics like I would drink. See, here's the key: I did not drink to have fun. I drank to mask my own shit. When you do that, that's where all this. And it's amazing how this wellness thing happens, but there's always booze. No, you notice that there's all this like wellness and shooting NAD plus and everything. And by the way, I am an addict. I'm a consumer. Yum, 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 yum.
Add to cart, add to cart, add to cart.
Like, add to cart. Yo, okay, I hope they break. Listen, I really like this. I really like Thesis. I'm not kidding you. I actually enjoy it because I stopped taking Adderall and I use Thesis instead.
I love that packaging.
It's a great packaging, and if you hit the button down there, maybe they'll buy it, and that's the goddamn point. The only reason that's a good thing to bring this up on a podcast is so they're like, okay, let's sell this shit. It's a bunch of mushrooms stuck in a cellulose container. Like everything else, addicted to supplements, addicted to everything. I love the fact that I'm on this podcast. I chose to be here. I'm so happy about it. I needed you to call me, so we do this. But if you look outside, it is fucking gorgeous out there. Am I running, jumping?
We're going out there soon. You are in your head, but on the psychedelics now.
Where does the energy go if you're in your head all day? Where does the energy go?
I feel like that's a nice rhetorical question there.
Rhetorical question. I think you have all the answers.
On the psychedelics, this is where I think it gets interesting, especially and then in comparison with the phones, right? Obviously, these are tools that can help you potentially heal you because you're getting knowledge or insights or wisdom or new awareness that you never had before in both mediums, both psychedelics and like that realm, and then also like phone, internet technology. There's obviously the downsides of it where on one spectrum you can use it for like recreational usage, which maybe is not fully using the medium to its potential. Yeah.
See, here's the thing where I think about recreational versus not pharmaceutical therapy. Fuck that. Taking it recreationally, if you're actually taking it or microdosing or anything else, if you've done the work, it really doesn't matter. You know, in my journeys, I would be like Papi Chulo. And everyone's like, Rob, he's in the fucking worst mood. Give him mushrooms. Just give him fucking mushrooms. He's fine. And sure enough, I'm good for a little bit. When the work, that shadow work and everything else is exactly what it is. When you're on mushrooms, you are connected. Like if you really dig on it, and why people follow the dead and why people do this is because they're in that. They're dancing. They're feeling the music. They are allowing in life. They're also participating. They're also spreading their energy, a good energy around. Why? I love Jerry Garcia and Bobby. God bless Bobby Weir where you are. But what gets it and what I never got is how you attract what you put out. If you're on mushrooms recreationally, but you're getting it enough to understand that you're really part of everything and that love comes in, doing it in therapy is great. And what you do in therapy is you go through it, you find out what's all the shit that's wrong with you. I already know. The reason I went to Costa Rica also, because I was looking into a place to do ayahuasca. And then I realized, what the fuck are you going to do with ayahuasca? You have literally know what your demons are. You've known them all your life. Why do you have to put yourself through that shit again? I am not discounting it. I think it's great for people. I am a proponent for psychedelic therapy. Every time I try it, I go opposite.
Why do you think then with the ayahuasca that you are looking ayahuasca, change out the name for something to like reaffirm what you already know to then what? Like what would your next steps be once you get that? Like, your demons, you're saying, you already know whether you're willing to commit in changing that or not. Like why? Because I feel like so many people also do this, even myself to like extents, like not in the ayahuasca sense, but like you're looking for certain reaffirmation when you already fucking intuitively know.
The answers are all, you have all the answers. You were born with all the answers. And, look, you follow a career, or you do what you love. You do what you love. You find out everything we love, we have to work for. Because if we don't work for it in any capacity, there's no love. Love is everything. Love it's everything. And when you are in a place where you push it away all your life and you don't let it in, or you don't go for after what you're doing, or you don't feel like you don't understand your own purpose, whether that's a job or not, it doesn't matter. A purpose has nothing to do with whether, I mean, look, I'm blessed with having money. I wasn't always, and then I was blessed with it. It's been a blessing and a curse, because there is nothing worse than a rich guy bored. And when I knew I didn't have it, and when you're stuck in the mindset that you don't deserve what you get, and even if it comes to you, and you can't, what the correct thing to do is to have it, be grateful with it, and do something with it. You know, a lot of people can live like they're in Wall-E. That's the whole point. You know, I mean, we are here on a podcast. We are trying to be in business. You are, I think, a fantastic human being. I think you're doing great stuff for the world. And that is the point. When you're doing something and you're putting something out there and being a part of this humanity and planet, and you're part of the party, there's your divine. That's your divine basketball, the bullshit. So Taylor and I met on this podcast, doing this vertical. And as I talk about this bullshit, I ended up playing a bullshit character. So what it is our star goes and is in a rom-com and goes through dates she hates. Ours is a little different because I wanted to mix it up. So this whole thing about Burning Man and ayahuasca and all these things. So I played a spiritualist, but I turned it into sort of a Florida swingers. My partner was a fantastic Christine Lucas, who is a wonderful, wonderful handpan. She's a handpan artist and DJ. She's fantastic. She's here in Miami, and she was great. I wanted to make sure that it was pretty self-deprecating. So I was, take it if you had Dionysus go to Burning Man, but was probably so out of his mind that like, and you really can't, a rom-com person doesn't fit with that. Dear God, I hope this is funny as fuck. Because honestly, you can't take yourself too fucking seriously.
I think that's like life. Like you realize to a certain extent, I feel like you're a child, right? And you're like having fun and you're free. And then life gets serious. And then it doesn't need to get serious in the sense where you're removing the creative freedom fun part. It just gets serious where like you now have to take accountability. For example, in your situation, like you were given something. What are you going to do? Are you going to be a fucking old, fucking boring rich guy and just sit there? Or are you going to do something with it? Whatever that means to you, like fulfill yourself, help others, serve the community, whatever that looks like. And I think, but how do you find that purpose or like that will to want to give yourself to something that is of a higher purpose? And like
family is in shoes. My brother.
What do they do?
Well,
in everyone.
It really doesn't matter. But let's just say
Okay,
we have like a succession kind of family of shoes. It's a shoe empire, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to answer your question. In the shoe business, right? I'm not. I'm the guy who said no to doing that, tried to follow my own path. And my younger brother runs a wonderful business. We are still one of the oldest, and it'll be 50 years this year, and one of the most traditional and one of the biggest private shoe companies in the world. And I'm not going to mention it because it doesn't matter. It's great, and my brother's doing a phenomenal job because he chose. My father, we can use the word grooming, but I mean it in a good way. He taught him, whatever.
But I feel like that happens in many.
So wait a minute. Getting back to your question. My dad went over to China because also at the same time, there was a guy who went over in 1960s. It was a guy who ran, a runner in Oregon. You might have seen a movie or two about him. You might have heard of a basketball player that wears his shoes, Mr. Michael Jordan. And you know what? Mr. Phil Knight of the shoe industry came up with a slogan, because really this is the fucking point. And I understand it's an American company. And I don't give a shit. I don't care about all you trolls and your science fiction and everything else. It means one fucking thing. The answer to your question, just do it.
And I think there's a lot of reasons why people don't. And it's
Fear.
kind of sad to like
Fear.
see that.
Only one.
But like when you break it down, fear of what? Looking bad? Like we all have at some point looked like a fucking idiot. I mean, at some point in all of our lives, and like you can look back and say like, oh, it wasn't really that bad. Like, yikes, I wouldn't do that.
Fear of hurting anybody.
Like,
fear of everything. Fear of hurting. Fear of fear. Just fear in general. Like being afraid to be something in life, being afraid that life is going to hit you, be afraid of someone's going to shoot you down the street. And instead of being out there, and then when you're there, if those things happen, be involved or you can run away from it. I don't really love violence, but in my head, there's been a lot. So you have to understand, like, don't love violence, but part of us as men, let's just go to men, you know, we are, yeah, whatever. You know, there is this whole thing about protection and, you know, protection and making people safe and everything else. And, you know, if you're going to a really great relationship, you making your partners feel safe to be who they are. That goes to, especially in cohabitating, sexuality, everything else, you have to make them feel safe. And if you cannot, if you have so much anxiety or anything else, if you're not dealing with that, especially as a man, and going out there, seeking out violence is pathetic. Being violence because you're fucking delusional is because you're fucking delusional. We talk about fighting for peace. Yeah, no, I don't fucking like it. However, you know, I'll talk about John Lennon and everything else, but in my daily life and in my head and where I'm at after a few failed relationships, because a part of me being born out of it, it can come out. And if it doesn't, I'm not saying that I did anything, I'm not saying that I, you know, any of that, but I mean, you know, it can come out as an emotional abuse. It can definitely come out that way. And we all talk about it. And I think that's why so many relationships have failed. We're always looking for like, what's better out there? What's in the grass is greener? And, oh, I want to be single. And people do. I'm like, and why would I or anybody else yuck anybody's yum? Let everybody live their life. However, if you just let them live their lives and you don't do anything with yours, that's when we're going to go to a really darker decision, which I have been proponent of, and that is the big S word. You know? Well, if you live the way I'm talking about, it's like living suicide.
Well, I feel like without saying it, those actions are kind of what you're portraying in a lifestyle like that. But back to the relationship part, I think this is a super underrated aspect of life, like the whole partner thing, like especially like a sexual
underrated,
long-term overlooked. What, like the mismatch of expectation versus what you truly need is completely off compared to like what we're seeing digitally.
What do we truly need? What do we truly need?
What do we truly need? I think it goes back to what you said. I think it's different for everyone. Let you fucking whatever you feel like you need for you go do it. Don't interrupt in, you know, my ecosystem and what I'm here for, as long as you're not harming anyone or anything. But then it also, like, I think there are fundamental elements to a partnership that, like you said, love, like that's undeniable. And there's that force of love when there's like just an undeniable, unconditional love. It can literally move mountains. I mean,
do you feel like you've always deserved love?
No, totally not. I feel like even to this day, it's something that not practice, but it's something that when something would arise where, okay, maybe I'm not deserving, it's a reframe. It's a train. I'm trained, like my head is trained in the moment when something like a thought like that comes up. I've trained myself to not allow that thought to take over. And for me to like, it's like a train track, like immediately shift the track, because I know myself that loop can continue and then I'm down.
Do you do that through meditation? Do you do that through, how do you attain that?
Yeah, I train myself through meditation. So I would just meditation and affirmation. So I would write down like literally, I am love, I deserve love, I can give love. You know, you just write down the things that you're looking for. And it's like being a good basketball player. If you want to be good, you're going to go shoot hoops, you know, weekly at the hoop. If you want to be Michael Jordan good, you're practicing every day, all day.
What is the point? Okay, on that athlete, what is the point?
Yeah.
Do you strive to be Michael Jordan?
No, I think the point is to get to the level of awareness where you're aware that you're in that loop. I don't think the point is perfection where you're never going to achieve the negative, because I think that's
You envision yourself as a
a
champion.
totally.
There you go. There you go.
Now, yeah.
There's your key. That's your key to every athlete. Okay, so I've been an observer of the world, and maybe that's why, and all these algorithms and stuff like that. And I don't know what the fuck I've been putting on this planet for. Who knows? Maybe I'm an observational weirdo who has to tell you this. Light and love. Whatever. Let me go to a heat game and tell you how much of there's the weirdo that just looks at shit. But the point is athletes and everything else, they see themselves as a champion. And it's this whole idea about like, fuck them, they're stuck up. Fuck you. They're not stuck up. Because I'll tell you right now, Michael Jordan's done more for the planet and everything else. I've actually was just talking about a project that I want to do, a movie project, had to do with racing and everything else. The first person I thought about was him because of where he was and what he wanted and how he was against the league. And then I started thinking about that as how to, raise money for films and everything else, because it's like when we deal with media, this podcast, if it ever sees the light of day, is media. We have a responsibility. Sorry, Charlie Barkley, who I fucking love you, and now you get it. You're a fucking role model, no matter what you do. No, you don't have to say, do this, do that. Yeah, I'm done with priesthood. I don't need priests to do that. I don't need to become, Ray Donovan, okay? And all the stuff, and there's not anything, I swear to God, there's so much censorship that probably has to go on to this because the shit that's going to come out of my mouth, which, you know what? Do I have much to lose? I don't think so at this point, I'm not talking about brands, except Thesis. What I love about Thesis is you don't have to necessarily taking recreational mushrooms. Instead of Adderall, think about Thesis. Your healthcare plan will love you for it.
Thank you, Thesis. We appreciate your non-official sponsorship.
Jesus Christ, could you imagine? This is how to do, by the way, kids, this is how to do brand sponsorship.
We have a thesis. We'd like you to sponsor us. No, back to relationships, because I think it's important. And I want you to maybe give some of the lessons that you've been learning through your experiences, because you are a dad and you have kids and you've gone through that, experience that I have not yet.
Older kids, yes.
Relationship. What are like the first things now that come to your mind in a relationship versus, the 20-year-old Rob when you drop the word relationship and think about?
Well, looking back, first of all,
when did you have kids?
I was actually out of the relationship with my first baby mama, and Dior, my lovely, amazing, wonderful Dior, who just turned 31, who is an absolute blessing and a half. But I was too young for that. And I think that I was not ready, but I still look back on that and like, God, I wish I was ready, because I always, it was actually Mom's birthday yesterday on St. Patty's Day, and she's had a wonderful life. She got remarried, soccer mom, everything, but I'm still looking back to that relationship, and I have kids. And I think that you have to, when you're a dad, you got to make the kids feel safe. I mean, you're no longer about yourself when you're a parent. You got to live your life. You got to take care of yourself, but it becomes different. I stopped my pursuits. And what I did by talking about that is I think I made her feel bad that I stopped. And I think she caught that from that. And that's what gave a little bit to that. So in a relationship with you got to go after what you want to do. And also by doing that, be involved. I think a relationship when you have kids, don't get divorced. And if you're going into it, go in, understand it's hard, understand the beauty of it. Just if you're with your person, fuck this, how long do I live and everything else? Yeah, there's a finite. And in the next life and everything, fuck you might be a cat and not remember. Fuck you, who knows? Maybe we're all lizards. Maybe we're here. Maybe this is it. Maybe we go to nothingness. Forget about heaven. If you're religious, fuck your heaven. Because
just
honestly, if I'm waiting for heaven, what the fuck am I doing here? So with relationships, I think that if you really feel it's your person, you don't really argue. You argue, but you don't fight. If you deal with the kids, deal with yourself, everything else. Family is sort of everything. I don't mean siblings and everything else, they're great. But I mean, there is a building block to life. And I think it's you. I think it's partnership and family. And I think it's community. And I think it's service. And if you don't understand all this and you're just a fucking troll on the internet or whatever you're going to do and spout out whatever, that's why I think we are in the state we are in today. Okay? This has been recurring. Like all the politics that are around us, you know, I don't know how heavy we want to get into that.
No, I mean, I'm politically agnostic because I think, you know, obviously you have to vote and shit, but like, you know, in the politics scene, for me, it's like you're asking me to choose a devil in the red dress or a devil in the blue dress. They're both talk one way and then their actions say a completely different way. I can't trust anyone like that. So like for me, I'm all about how can I make the change? And like, you know, obviously the government, we live under a government and that's it. But like, for
well,
me,
we all do in all humanity. The whole thing is every single piece of humanity has a government. You know, we talk about that all the time. And, you know, I'm going to Costa Rica thinking, oh, like I'm going to go live in the jungle. There's a government there. There's rules. There's society. I could go off the grid, but the fuck I want to do that for? You know who goes off the grid? The Unabomber.
And then he creates his manifesto. Wait, before we jump to the one last topic, I do want to, because this does come up a lot in like my conversations. It's like being ready for parenthood. What the fuck does being ready mean when you have such a shift like that? Because all people that don't have kids hear about it's like it changed your life forever. It changed your life forever. Okay,
it does. You want to know how it does? Whether or not you are responsible for someone else for the rest of your life. You got a dog? Taylor, do you have a dog? Do you love your dog?
I love my dog, but I hate sometimes when I have to take it out.
Tough shit, but do you love your dog? Would you give up your dog? Would you give up the responsibility of the dog?
Sometimes I would like to, but not.
Would you want to get rid of the dog and take bingo? That's the same thing with kids. Difference is there, I mean, like dog is a sentient human being, but you love and probably want to kill your partner all the time. We always do, but you're already married and fuck marriage. And I don't mean that I'm against it because I have been. And in my first relationship, it didn't work out so much. I wanted to be married. I ended up recreating it. I married a woman with the same name and I tried to recreate patterns. But that's the thing. You want to know when you're ready for parenting? You understand your own patterns. You understand what makes you tick. You're going, if you understand love now, you're going to understand how to parent. Are you ready for parenting? Yes. It does change your life. But how? Do you live at home a lot? You travel a lot?
I'm out about.
You travel for work?
A lot of things. I'm never like sitting at home. Well, I travel, but like local.
Right. Great for kids. Listen, the kids are going to look
for kids.
The kids are going to look to you for examples, not just because of your love. You're going to give the nurturing. You're going to give all that. It's going to be built in. I do believe that it's all built in. There's a balance between what you do and what they're doing. It's just, it's more to do. It's more balancing. It's more all that. But looking back and being divorced, being a product of divorce and being divorced, I regret so much about not spending time. I had my daughter when I was married. We broke when she was 4. That nearly broke me.
How old?
I was at that point. I got married. I was 34. So I mean, I got married. I mean, I got married when I was around 30. We had a decent relationship. We went to Thailand. We had 5 months in Southeast Asia. We did some great stuff. Did I have the right partner? Did I pick the right partner? Did she pick me? If we picked each other, did we really understand each other and be grateful for each other? I think not. And I can only speak for myself. So I think that it's great to have kids in having both parents, 2 parents.
Okay, wait, now I have so many questions. Do you think that like
you sure you would have stopped this at 3?
Like that gratitude and love loop, giving your partner, let's say your first wife, she was the one, like she was the right partner, but there was missing those elements, like the gratitude and that like reciprocation of love and that understanding.
She was a little older and I was recreating something.
But do you think those are some of the fundamental elements to making it work?
It is the fundamental. Like, yes. It's not even the question. I know how she is with, her husband now. Like I've seen her over the times before she was with her husband, and there were connections and stuff during those periods. Did I ever want to I think part of us wanted to get back together we did. Actually, when she told me, she was pregnant, I tried to get back, but I was that point I was so young and had to sacrifice my own dream or whatever. I didn't know which way to go. I didn't have a support emotionally enough from my family, from my dad. And that's another thing too. Your parents are together, your parents are alive. You come from that. I know you have brothers and sisters, right? Right. You have a brother. If you have a grounded place, so you already know how it's going to be because you came from it. You came from a great, stable background. When some people don't and they live in their own bullshit, and maybe there's a tragedy, dark tragedy that you keep reliving again and again and don't get over, that's what you're going to pass on your kids. If you stay within the love and you're like, let's go, everything's out there, you prepare them for the worst, whatever, but you hope for the best. Don't just hope for the best. There, life is beautiful. But you gotta believe it yourself.
For those that like come from brokenness and like super
hi, how are you?
Just like really dark experiences. I mean,
like what?
Like murders and
stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff. All of the things. I mean, even in my family, we've had like some crazy experiences. But for people that like come from a brokenness like that, how do you change that trajectory so that you don't do what you're saying and pass it on to your kids? Like,
if you go through that, stop deeply telling yourself you're broken. Go do some work, do shadow work and all that stuff. Try to integrate the pieces of yourself so that go do what you love, find it, keep doing it, take that, get that energy back and deliver it again. Be of service. Don't be selfish.
I honestly think you hit the nail on the head right there. I think it's getting that energy back because in brokenness, like you're lost, you're losing something. And I think so many people, obviously, whether it happens consciously or unconsciously, they're running towards something to try to like fill that back up. And sometimes, or in many cases, like what's filling that cup back up is not substantial. It's just emptiness again. And it's that recurring loop of see the golden nugget, looks good, and it's just empty again. And it's empty again. And it's just, you never achieve that fullness and you're always living your life like half empty.
Which is selfish. And the whole love is not selfish. It's never selfish. Everything we do, every entertainer, what do you do? Like, as long as you're doing something for humanity on the good side, even if if you're defending something, fuck the politics and everything else. But hey, listen, if you're there and you're there to protect, and, we have a lot, obviously military go through so much PTSD and everything else and all that, and they have to come back. And that's a tough situation. But, there are actors. Look at some of the actors that have gone through that who are brilliant and give back, and they're having amazing lives. You've got Gal Gadot. You've got Adrian Brody. You've got these people who have, if you're an Israeli, you have to go through that, right? You have to do that. There are people that are so good and getting discipline as an adult, which you've learned, realizing that discipline is just being focused and not necessarily just telling you what not to do. Discipline, you got to understand the love in every word.
I think discipline is like reducing that signal to noise, like the noise of all the bullshit. And then, what is the love or like that oneness that you're trying to achieve. One last question. In your perspective now, as you like sit down and like look at life, how has it shifted from when you were younger based on like all of your experiences? Like, what would you tell your younger self now versus like what you would tell your younger self, like even 10 years?
Do what you love, brother. Don't do what you love. But while you're doing what you love, make sure you're aware of everybody around you. Do what you love and share that with as much out there as possible. And if you see someone that's struggling, help them out. Just don't think you're alone. No, you're never alone. Know that just isolating yourself away from things and from life is really just keep doing what you love, but don't just sit there and, you can relax on a beach, but you better fucking enjoy it. Everything you do, you better enjoy. Dance your fucking ass off. Dance like you haven't been before. Dance like you are a fucking groupie at an EDM rave. And there is nothing wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with
Sounds
anybody.
like I think that's a key. Dancing. There's nothing like a good song that'll make you get out of your seat. I mean, for the people that I see at like weddings and stuff that are like anywhere that like can't move to music, I'm like, are you a fucking robot? I don't understand how you're not shaking some part of your body.
Dear God, that's why, I mean, you look at EDM, you look at this and everything else, get the fucking phones out of the way. And that's what I love about the DJs that are like, get rid of the phones, get rid of everything. You go to a concert and everybody's, I went to Oasis.
Oh my
I went to Oasis in Wembley Stadium. I went by myself. I had a friend of mine. I'm like, I don't know where to go. So I get this friend of a friend who she dresses up as a parrot at an Oasis concert, which makes no sense whatsoever. But it's like, maybe Liam will fucking see us. And we go. And the energy, I did not go with my friend. I regret not being with my boys and my friends. And if they come around, I already said that I'm going to go with them. But I wanted to be part of the energy. And that fucking stadium was like mad. It wasn't the music. I love music, but it wasn't the music that ever got me about Oasis. I'm an American. You know, we think like, oh, that's some shit they do with the karaoke star. No, fucking Liam Gallagher. It's fucking no, Liam goddamn Gallagher, agent of goddamn chaos. Brilliant. Also, family man, gave a shit, completely delusional and crazy, thinking his John herself is have the balls to be up there and be like Liam Gallagher. Because one thing he does, which is not selfish, and any rock star that's not selfish, because they never usually are doing it for the people and the fans. And that is the way you have to be through your whole life. Everybody is your fan. You have to be a rock star, whatever you do, and be fucking cool for all your fans because they love you. You tell yourself that. You get delusional about that. You work your ass off. You play, you sing, you use your fucking God-given talents. You find out what the fuck makes you tick, and you don't stop till you fucking drop. Because you're still not going to be surfing on that board if you don't hang on, you don't get up, you don't stand up, and you don't move your ass.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the performer and the rock star thing. It's a great analogy. I think, you know, we're all performing and we're always going to have fans that are in the crowd that are not like
But you think this is not going to end with a performance by me? You think that I'm not going to actually take a guitar and not do this?
Obviously, we need that for the ending.
Okay.
Hit the guitar.
I don't even know how I tune this. You know what? I might have to do a little of this, right? Might have to bring down the... Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, there you go.
No, it's a real concert.
Shit, fuck that. This is not the original song. This is just a tribute. You got to believe it. I bet you are there. Jack Black, JB is sitting there going, shut the fuck up and at least know my lines. I'm just riffing right now. All right. This is not going to be the best rendition.
No, that's all we need.
I saw her a day at the reception. Some wine in her hand. Gonna meet her connection. And her feet was footloose. I was scared for you.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Theodora. Still love that. The most boring version of a Rolling Stone song you've ever heard.
No, dude, I liked your little
actually
riff.
It is Happy Birthday, Theo. It is Theodora Richmond's birthday today.
Thanks for giving us some killer tunes to vibe out.
Shit, we try.
I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on this.
Part one of many. Thank you, Rob.
Peace.